So, who who had the Texans to win? Who? Put your hands up. It's cool. It's cool. You're not dumb. You're not a Houston fan. You're not overly hateful of the Chiefs. You're a Niners fan that watched a Cardinals game, but that's besides the point. Of course, we have the Texans against the Chiefs. First game of the NFL season, primetime Thursday night football season opener. Of course, there was a lot of controversy over the salute that some teams were indecisive for the even coming for the two national anthems. I'm not going over all that. That's just whatever the hell happened. There was somewhat a limited crowd for the Chiefs game against the Texans, of course, because the still pandemic plays a major factor in most attendance rolls. I mean, the WNBA, even without the pandemic, still gets record-breaking losses of attendance, but that's besides the point. They have 205 live attendance. To just sum it up all the statistics going into the game, Deshaun Watson went 2 he went 253 from the yardage, went 20 of 32. He looked like whenever he was trying to launch over to Duke Johnson, that did suffer a somewhat injury. He was going over to Jordan Atkins when he was trying to lunge it up over to Will Fuller. He leaned forward over his shots, and I understand he was trying to get through the gap of the linebacker. It just felt super awkward. Will Fuller dropped, like, we opened up with a huge streak right over for a freaking drop ball. The highest the the second highest, the second most yardage for a receiver wasn't even over 50 yards. Jordan Atkins was the highest receiver with 39. David Johnson. Oh, by the way, David Johnson is a running back. Randall Cobb, 10-year receiver that already had complaints of over the offseason, over the most risque trade that he'll be a number 3 receiver at best. You're good over a pocket passer style where you're just going to be fed the ball over somewhat easy plays. Not in a not in a mobile quarterback sense, with a lackluster O line that they're just going to be overly reliant on the short pass play, unless Deshaun gets the deep ball. And Will Fuller, they were just hoping up the post or up mid, he could just lunge it deep over the Fuller. That was the only option. Kenny Stills was targeted only twice. And he dropped one ball and one fell off his hands over an out of bounds call when he was up to Tyrann Matthews. I won't fault Duke Johnson because he had somewhat of an injury. David Johnson was one of the second best players. 77 yards off 11 carries. One rushing touchdown, the first person to score. There was a call over the first play for a near touchdown from Sammy Watkins' pass from Patrick Mahomes over the first opening drive of just a few, like 4 plays in. But then it got overruled when Watkins, falling after catching the ball, slipped off his hands over midair. It got reversed for a play because he didn't get full grab of the ball before he went down. But that's besides the point. What is a catch to the NFL? I don't know, but sometimes we know. Most of the primetime players, obviously Pat Mahomes, 3 touchdown passes, no picks, 211 with a good pass percentage, and of course, rookie from LSU Clyde Edwards-Helaire with 25 carries for a touchdown and 138. The guy came to play. You could barely even see him carry without getting a first down. Darrell Williams was there, but he was more threat in the passing game, hitting those short curls for decent yardage. Anthony Sherman. There was also Sammy Watkins that wasn't yet utilized, of course, in the run because he was more used for the play. All 3 receivers and the tight. No, just Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins caught a touchdown, and Travis Kelce down the red zone, but that was like in the second half when they needed it. There was some pass interference plays here or there. There was decent blitzing over for the defense to do some damage, but yeah, J.J. Watt looked like he was just edging out to stop the run. It looked like nobody can touch anybody in the defense other than ducking and dodging. Deshaun Watson was just getting highlights, rushing over, getting away from the defense. The right and left tackle couldn't do anything. The right tackle and the right guard couldn't pass block. Just come, just just cross cuts can get through that. They are that bad. They are fundamentally mediocre. I've seen better O line plays coming from the Broncos O line. That's for the past half a decade has been terrible. That's not good. Tyrann Matthews went 6-2. Anthony Hitchens went 4-3, stopping some decent stops off the run. Chris Jones and Antonio Hamilton, Janarius Sneed, they were so mid, but they stopped Deshaun Watson over times when he really was just stuck in the pocket and he had nowhere to go, or unless he was trying to run up. There was, of course, there was Charvius Ward. I'm trying to look for the name. It was so black you couldn't. And I have yes, there it is. Legarius Sneed had a decent. He had decent pass blocking in his plays. Some decent stops over the pass deflection, and it proved to be worth stopping over the deep ball. Randall Cobb can barely catch outside routes. Uh, Barely anything was happening over the deep ball unless it wasn't Will Fuller. It's like, and now it's either just the Jaguars, not the Jaguars. They're not making it to the playoffs. It's just the Colts. AFC South is so droughted of talent. It's depressing. You have the Jaguars just doing refresh on their computer too many times that they forgot that they made like an AFC championship 3 years ago. And you got the Colts that just lost their prime superstar quarterback to injury, sadly. Probably he'll come back in like his early 30s because, some true talent don't really retire unless their injuries are that dire. And, of course, we got the Tennessee Titans that are the major favorites. In some set, we did not see Ryan Tannehill play. But somehow Madden thinks Colin Kaepernick, that hasn't played it down since 2016, is a higher caliber quarterback than Ryan Tannehill. Larry Fitzgerald is more of a starter than Colin Kaepernick, and this is coming from a Niners fan. So, of course, God, it just felt poor. If you don't have anything going for you, and you have Brandon Cooks getting only 20 yards, Darren Fells just feeling like he wasn't doing anything, and Randall Cobb that couldn't catch a ball if there was literal duck gorilla glue on the ball, then there was a major issue if none of them could even rack up over 50 yards receiving. It was either David Johnson just getting over those outruns and just getting it down off the red zone. They did sort of pick it up later in the second half, but it was already over. Kansas already had 17 points going in the second half. They just came with an unanswered 13. They haven't scored since the third quarter. And it's like, on paper, you think their defense would overshadow their offense. It just felt Bradley Roby only had one tackle for loss. Next to Burkendrick McKinney. J.J. Watt was only 2 of 1 and only stopping the run once. They got nobody. No Jadeveon Clowney, Zach Cunningham, showed somewhat some potential to me. Bradley Roby was just there to stop Sammy Watkins. Tyreek Hill caught some good bangers. It just, oh man, it just felt like it was just a Chiefs game, and many people were just counting out the Texans. I don't like doing that to the Texans, man. But over horrific O-line plays, the receivers completely underperformed. It's how sad it is that the players are so sorry that David Johnson, a player that hasn't been that relevant since 2016, went for the highest rusher, the second highest yards, like the third highest yards, next to Kenny Stills and Deshaun Watson. That's not good. That's not a good look. So where Deshaun Watson come like week 3 is gonna be the leading rusher until they actually pick up probably Jay Ajayi or something off because he's still a free agent, I think. But yeah, I guess this is the recap. This is an entirely disappointing game, but something inevitable because of course this is a go. This is a season opener for a Super Bowl defending champions, and of course it makes sense the Chiefs come out winning a one-sided game with, of course, a loss of weapons or just a weapon in getting an actual prime receiver that did show up. DeAndre Hopkins did show up in his game against the Cardinals off a big wheel play that kind of stopped the 49ers, and we couldn't get it done in our offense. But that's besides the point. Lakers, bro, you hurt me. But still, that's it coming for the primetime recap. Thanks for watching, folks. Hopefully, I get prediction videos out before Thursday starts. So that's it coming for me. Thanks for watching. Hope you like, comment, subscribe, and like the video.